guys, so this is a video all about retinol, RetinA. I will try and make it as concise as I can, and I'm sure I'm going to be missing things, and I'm certainly no expert. I have done some research on it, but because I'm not a real long-time user, there's going to be things that you ladies out there know much more than I. So feel free to leave comments for other people to read your experience, your tips, all that sort of stuff. I love these message boards so that, you know, we can all sort of share our little bit of knowledge. So the first thing is, I really didn't know the difference between RetinA, retinol, what the heck, tretinoin. So from what I gather, retinol is a natural form of vitamin A. RetinA is a synthetic form. RetinA is also sort of the brand name for a prescription drug called tretinoin. So those are sort of the differences. From what I gather as well, the retinol, the natural form of vitamin A, can be a little bit a little gentler on the skin than the synthetic form. So those are sort of the three things. Now, for me personally, I may have tried retinol products in the past, but there weren't anything that I really wanted to investigate a lot into just because of the side effects. My skin is so sensitive. It really started to freak out. I think I tried a lot of different sort of sampling things, so I really didn't know the difference between what the retinol was versus the RetinA, all that sort of jazz. So I can't really speak about the stuff that I'd done in the past, which really was not much at all. Like I said, I didn't delve into it. Whenever I delve into something, I really do a ton of research. Just so that I'm picking out the best things for my skin, sort of figuring out what it does, why, you know, there's buzz on it, what the scientific research is about it. So I don't go into things really lightly. So the earlier stuff, I think, was just a very cursory sort of dabble into it because, you know, you hear about that. You hear it in the ether. Oh, retinols are supposed to be fantastic. They're like a magic bullet. It's great for this, that, and whatever. And I think I tried it and it just freaked out my skin. So I was like, whatever, I don't even know. Because, you know, part of it is also everything is touted as the latest and greatest, this, that, whatever. It's a huge marketing machine. It's a multi-billion-dollar sort of industry that's constantly pumping you with all of this information that really, you know, it's kind of like poetic license. They can kind of say anything, just like they can put a freaking, you know, ad on for a mascara and then CGI the lashes like growing like 500% and plumping up. I mean, it's just not humanly possible, and yet they can get away with doing ads like that. So I really have some skepticism when it comes to the latest and greatest and all this sort of buzz. So that's what kind of, I didn't really stick with it, and I kind of get from the comments that I've read from you guys that you're sort of the same way, where it was sort of, oh, my skin, it's freaking out, so I sort of gave it up. So I'm here to say, if you can stick with it, really, really stick with it. And this is really more so for anti-aging. I don't think that this is a product to use in your 20s. Let me get into the whole thing about what RetinA. I'll kind of mention RetinA because that's what I'm using. I'm not using a natural form, I'm using RetinA. So that's a prescription drug that you get from your dermatologist. Basically what it is it promotes cellular turnover. That's what the irritation is. That's that thing that you're feeling. It's telling your skin to start creating more cells, more collagen, more elastin, all that stuff. It's really, really affecting the deep levels of your skin. I don't know where some people get the idea that this is an exfoliator. It's not an exfoliator. I mean, maybe in some clinical something term they'll mention that, but to me, you know, exfoliators like hydroxy acids, all that sort of stuff, it promotes sort of a topical exfoliation, the top levels of your skin. So you're sort of sloughing off that top level. Whereas with RetinA, is really designed to go into the deeper levels of your skin, to really sort of penetrate that and kind of kickstart that mechanism back to what it did in its natural form when you were, you know, in your teens and your 20s. The reason why you had such fantastic skin that was really, really resilient was because it was constantly turning over. There's constantly new skin being formed, and there's just a lot of pep and verve and energy to your skin. It was just working at its optimum performance. So then researchers said 31, some have said 35. We don't really know. I don't really know. I certainly did not get into it until I was, 40 or something like that. I mean, I could have started earlier, but yeah, whatever. Because I really just like to listen to my skin. Here's my thing. I have so many young girls at 20, even in their teens, late teens, 20, 21, 22, something, should I be using, your skin looks so good at that age, should I be using this, should I be using that, and to me, I didn't start any of those things. When your skin is young and vibrant, just revel in that. Just roll around in that beautiful youth-driven skin that just comes naturally. I think if you are going to start worrying about all of that stuff while you're really at the peak of your physical beauty, girl, life is going to be really hard for you. Honestly, it's really, start worrying about that when you're actually aging. To worry about aging when you're young, I'm telling you right now, you're going to regret it. You're going to be 50 years old going, what the heck was wrong with me? There's plenty of time to worry about the adverse effects of aging. But when you're born till 30 even, you're just love it. Just love it and just thank nature, Mother Nature, the way the human body works, and just be happy and satisfied with that. Because honestly, I just think the stress of that also affects your skin. The stressing out of, okay, what's this, what's that, what's this, you know what I mean? And like I said, when you get older, you will be kicking yourself in the butt for not just loving every minute of your 20s. So, I just want to put that out there because I do have so many people. And honestly, I'm not a skincare expert, as much as I love the fact that you guys come to me and the channel is there to help you. I'm not an esthetician. I'm not a dermatologist. I don't know what works for everyone's skin. I only know what works for mine and then share that experience. So I'm not here to diagnose what your skin problems are and what it could, because I just don't want to lead you in the wrong way. And quite frankly, I don't have those answers. So if you're worried enough, please see a dermatologist. So, right, back to the scientific thing where they were saying perhaps at 31 that mechanism of cellular turnover starts slowing down. Some say 35. So, and of course, as you get older and older, it just starts slowing down more and more and more, which gives you that sort of a dull appearance. It's just your body is not working in the same capacity and frequency as it did. So the whole idea of retinols, RetinA, is about cellular turnover, to sort of mimic what your body naturally did and what your skin naturally did beforehand. So that's why it really is hailed as an anti-aging must-have. And I do really agree with that. And it's really funny. I think I saw a program a year or so ago on Oprah. I miss Oprah. Anyways, it was Dr. Oz, and he was doing a whole skincare thing and the myths and facts about skincare. And it was really funny where he said, there's very few things that are scientifically proven. The rest is just gimmick. It's just marketing campaigns, taglines, catchphrases, all that sort of stuff. There's very, very few things. I think he listed 3 or 4. And luckily, when I was watching it, I was like, yes, I got them all. Oh, maybe all. Yeah, I think I did, because it was really vitamin C, which I'm a huge proponent of, my CE ferulic. Vitamin E, which is also known to soothe, calm the skin. We all know that. And vitamin A, which is retinols, RetinAs, they're all derivatives of vitamin A. So that's really all you need to combat. Well, hello, my darling. That's my little putty pud. She's like, supper time, Mom. Where the heck's my food, yo? Hi. Oh. See how she licked her lips? Okay. Just a couple of minutes. Right. What a good mom. I'm like, you're hungry? Okay, get out of here, scram. Okay, anyways, so he was saying that there's very few things that are scientifically proven. over a long period of time. And those really are sort of like, it's the trifecta, right? The trio that really, really does work for your skin. And I'm a minimalist in all facets of my life. And I don't think skincare should be complicated. I think it's very, very simple. I think what complicates it is that there is such a huge greed factor in the market. There's a whole sort of snake oil salesman kind of attitude about it, trying to sucker women in. This is why I love YouTube. The YouTube community to me was really about the antithesis of the multi-billion-dollar advertising beauty industry, which is, you know, this is the miracle thing. This will make you feel, you know, 20 years younger. It'll make you look 20 years younger. You're going to have the best life, you know, that you always dreamed of if you have this cream. And what I loved about this community was, tried it, don't believe the hype, it stinks. Here's a $10 cream that works just as well. You know, that's what this community is about. So, my God, I'm off in tangents all over the place. So, the retinol, or the RetinA, really is sort of a key ingredient. Most people in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, you really should incorporate it. Now, as we all know, there are huge side effects. My experience was, well, number one, I wanted to get the prescription because, again, like sunscreens and stuff, I don't want a hybrid. I want them separated. I want a sunscreen. I don't want it mixed in with my moisturizer. And I want a RetinA, and I don't want it mixed in with some other sort of moisturizer, serum, this, that. I want the pure form so that I can control it, because it is a product that you need to control until your skin acclimates to it. So the other great bonus of doing that is, you know, I've seen it even in SkinCeuticals, you know, brands that I love, even the high ends that are really going on with this whole, you know, retinol craze. They will charge you an arm and a leg, when in actuality, if you go get a prescription, it's about 25 bucks. So $25 rather than 150 and up, or when you can get some for 50, 60 bucks, but why not just get the real thing? So to me, it was about controlling it because of the side effects. So I know that there are brands like that you hear of, Renova, Atralin, things like that. And what I didn't know was that they are not universal. They are American-based brands. So of course, you know, it's passed by the FDA in the States, but in Canada, we have different stipulations with prescription drugs. And so we don't carry those brands at all. In fact, we only carry two. And one of them that I have is Stevia A. Steva A. And there was another one, but it was a higher concentration. This is a 0.025. I don't even know. I honestly, I don't think I could ever even bump up. And if I did, it would probably have to be like 5 years down the road or something when my skin's really acclimated to this. I heard somebody else actually tried to bump up after they'd been using 0.025 for a few years, and they couldn't. It just freaked out their skin. So who knows? You may not ever need to bump up. But so in Canada, this is the brand that's most commonly used. So we don't get the Renovas and stuff, unfortunately. So I got a prescription in February of this year. So 10 months we're looking at. I would say that it took 6 months, 6 or 7 months to acclimate. A really bloody long time. But I really had to stick it out, because there was, when I did do the research, it really is the only thing you really need. I don't buy fancy schmancies. I have a very, very basic skincare system that I have loved for over 20 years that really, really works for me. And this is a new thing that I've incorporated, and I don't really use, you know, I use a vitamin C in the day, and I use a RetinA at night. And that's it. And then your basic skincare. So from February, I won't, it's got, you know, all my medical info on there. So I've used that much in woo! That's me. And this is the full. So that's the full sort of tubule, and that's what I'm up to right now. So it takes a long time to use this up. So, you know, 25 bucks, and it'll last you well over a year. So Okay, so, yikes, I've got hair in my mouth. All right. So, the irritation factor is really quite huge. What I did was, the first day I used it, no adverse effects at all. I was like, oh God, I don't feel anything. I used the tiniest amount, and when I'm saying tiniest amount is that. Pretty much for my whole face. That was it. And I felt nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was just like any other cream. I was like, oh, fantastic. Used it the next night. Nothing. I was like, woo! Oh my God, they've really changed it since I tried it a decade ago or whatever the heck it was. Third day, did it again. I was like, woo! Man, I am just coasting. And I woke up the fourth day and my face was a hot mess. Like, seriously, a hot mess. Blotchy, red, flaky. You know, honestly, if I tried to smile or something, I bet you my skin would start cracking. And I mean, it was just awful. Pain like you wouldn't believe. Because I just went fully gung-ho. I should have known because my skin is so hyper sensitive, but I just went cuckoo crazy. And so, needless to say, I had to stop it. And I couldn't use it for weeks. My skin took weeks for it to go back after 3 days. Just 3 days of using that tiny, you know, half a pea size, it just freaked my skin out. So, here are the different ways that you can do it. I didn't know this, but if your skin is as sensitive as mine, what you can do is you put it on for 15 minutes and then rinse it off. Do that for a while. Nobody says that you have to leave it on overnight. When I was talking to my derm who actually prescribed this to me, and I told her my sort of reticence into it because of how sensitive my skin was, she told me that yes, you can just use it like a bit of a treatment mask. Just put it on for 15 minutes and rinse it out. So there's one way of doing it, which really, anything to help you keep with it, because it's going to be months and months until you see 3 to 6 months, sometimes 8 months to actually see the effects, the positive effects from it. Because, you know, and if you just drop out after a few weeks or even a couple of months, you're really not going to see the benefits yet. So whatever you can do, if that means for the first month, 2, 3, 4 months, you just put it on for 15 minutes and rinse it off. If that's what you need to do to use this product for the rest of your life, then so be it. So there's the one way you can do it. Obviously, doing them in intervals. Putting it on, taking the next night, not putting it on. So for me, I had to do it all. Because of that first 3 days, when I went back to it after weeks, finally when my skin went back to normal, that's what I did. I used it for just 15 minutes, rinsed it off for a little while until I felt like, okay, it's safer to, you know, maybe try it overnight for one night, you know, because I was not going to make the same mistake. So, because I really paid for it. I mean, it was so painful and it was so hideous. My skin was just like, Mama, why? You know? So you can do it that way. Then afterwards, I started doing it every 3 or 4 days. So I do it once, then take 3-4 days off, do it again. And I had to keep doing that because I would feel that. Even just doing it that once, I could start, you know, I was having those side effects and the flakiness and the redness and the soreness. So, you know, you just, like with all things, listen to your body, listen to your skin. So I was really paying close attention to what my skin was asking of me. So I really staggered it a lot. When I felt like I could handle it a little bit more, I would do that. As soon as the first signs of it being like, then I would start pulling back. So I did that for quite a while, and it literally took 7 months, 6-7 months. I'm into my 10th month. I had 2 months where I was using it, well, after 6 or 7 months, maybe even 8, somewhere in there, I started using it every single night, and my skin was finally okay with it. So for that long, that's when I had to stagger it, just use it as a mask, just use it here and there, but stick with it. It's something, once you incorporate it as an anti-aging regimen, you're going to be using it for the rest of your life. So however long it takes you to finally, you know, get with the program, get your skin sort of in line, it is worth it. So I did that, and then I was using it every single day. Well, it was great for a while until the weather started changing and it started to get really cold. Then I could start feeling some of the side effects again. So it's going to be a seasonal thing for me. And again, just listen to your skin. If it's feeling a little bit too sore, I'm going to go off of it. So that's what I've been sort of doing now. I'm not using it every single night. I'm probably using it at least 4 times a week, sometimes 5 times a week, but I do give my skin a little bit of a reprieve. The other thing also was, in the beginning, I did nothing. I didn't use exfoliators. I didn't use, oh my God, I couldn't use any kind of glycolic acid, anything. None of that. I really even had to lay off of my CE ferulic because the vitamin C, when your skin is that sensitive, really starts to burn and tingle. So, everything was sort of a balancing act. And again, I was just listening to my skin. There's certain days that I would pay for it because you don't quite know, but you live and learn. So, the other added relief was argan oil. That was a huge, huge benefit to me that I had discovered argan oil, a year and something ago, 2 years ago. Well, maybe even longer. I don't know, but I think that really, really helped because it really soothes and moisturizes the skin. If you have any kind of dryness and you're using retinols, which makes it even drier and more sensitive and more sore, to use oil. And when I mean putting that stuff on, it was like a salve. I was like a disco ball. That's how reflective. I had so much oil on my face just to try and calm it down. And my skin really drank it up. It really needed that much moisture. So I would say it doesn't have to be argan, but any kind of oil I think will really, really help. And especially oils, because I don't know why people are against oils in a lot of ways, because it's the same oil that's in a cream. The difference with the cream is now you've got tons of more added ingredients in order to turn that oil into a cream, because there are oils present in that cream. So I think maybe back in the day people just didn't like the idea of putting oils or the look of oils on the face, or it would, oily meant dirty or something. Whereas now, we're a little bit more sophisticated in our sort of skincare philosophy. So to me, I just think the reason why you might have reactions to certain creams is because of all the added ingredients that they put in to make it into a cream. So if you just stick with the oil itself, there's far less things for your skin to be irritated, and that's what you want. When you're doing retinols, you don't want any more irritation than you've already gotten yourself into. So I would suggest oils. It can be argan, it can be coconut. It can be whatever ones that you don't have to run out and go buy argan. But I think an oil will really help. So those really are the tips. I know they're not like, woo, my God, you've discovered some secret. It's just really kind of common sense. But hopefully that should help you through the process, just knowing that it's going to be, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So pace yourself. If you know that it's going to be and it's kind of delayed gratification, that you're going to have to use something for that long for you to see the benefits. So the question is, do I see the benefits? Yes. Yes. It's more so I feel the benefits. Does it get rid of the hyperpigmentation? Yeah, it does. But again, as soon as the sun hits it, it comes back. So it's not like a cure-all where you're never going to have hyperpigmentation, but it certainly does fade it. You must be diligent with sunscreen. Luckily, I am diligent, have been for, a good 5, 6, 7 years. I use sunscreen every single day, rain, shine, snow, it doesn't matter. It's just part of my skincare ritual. So find a sunscreen that you love and be diligent about it, because your skin does become extra sensitive to the sun, because you have to remember, this is new skin coming up. It's forcing more collagen, more elastin, all that sort of stuff. So it's cellular renewal. So you're constantly getting new skin, and you don't want to expose it to the sun without protecting it. So it'll make your hyperpigmentation way worse. So, do I notice side effects? What I do notice is the feel and texture of my skin. I have to say, when I was young, because I was such a moon pace, I don't even know what a moon pie face. Very, very fleshy, very thick. When I was growing up in my teens and 20s, I couldn't even pinch my skin. It was just so taut. It was like taut and just fleshy. And then one day in, quite a few, well, maybe more like 3 or 4 years ago, I was just sitting on the couch or lying, watching a movie, whatever, and I was like, pinching my skin. And the last time I'd done that was when I was in my 20s. And the difference was, it was like my skin was like, what's the word? Not paper mache. I don't even know where paper mache comes from, but it was so thin, and I could literally pull it and it wouldn't really snap back. There wasn't a tautness to it anymore. It just freaked me out. It literally freaked me out, because it wasn't that there was much of a visual difference, but the feeling of it was huge, and I started to freak out. I was like, oh my God. It was like, you go from something that's really plump, and all of a sudden it was like really like saggy or something. The texture of it was so thin. You went from something plump to really, really like rice paper thin, and it was like a wake-up call. And so that's the difference that I noticed. When I do this now, it's plump again. It snaps back. It's plump. It's not, where it's just sort of dry and papery and thin. It's got some elasticity back. So that's what I noticed, where it's hard to pinch again. Whereas before, if I could just grab it, I would grab like a chunk and I'd be able to pull it away from my face. Now, I can barely do that. So the pinch test is always a good one. I would even suggest doing that. Before you start the retinol, pinch your face. See what that texture of your skin feels like. And then wait the 8 or 9 months and do it again. And that's what I'm getting, is the firmness. It's the building blocks are all there. Your skin is like, there's building blocks. There's all of these different layers. It's like, like soil, right? Terra firma. There's all of these different layers. And I can feel that, like all the layers are in place and they're strong and they're healthy again. So that's really the biggest difference. The look of the skin, yeah, certainly the fading of the hyperpigmentation. We Asians, we don't really get a lot of super wrinkles at this age, believe me. Overnight, it will all turn to hell. I will have aged like 150 years overnight. So we're good up until a certain extent. So we don't really do a lot of the wrinkling, but what we do is a lot of the sagging and a lot of the hyperpigmentation. Those are sort of our Achilles heels. So I didn't necessarily notice it so much for wrinkles, because knock on wood, I have yet to have really deep set wrinkles. Certainly have fine wrinkles all over there. It's, if I do this and around my eyes, I certainly have all of that sort of stuff, but, I'm not walking around like this all day. So I don't know for that, but it is supposed to help in wrinkles because it just plumps up the skin from underneath, so it fills in those lines from sort of underneath. But yeah, again, it's the texture if you're looking for more firmness or plumpness. Just better health, and it just gets better and better. So that's almost 30 minutes of rambling on and on and on. I think that's enough for now. If there are any other questions, feel free to ask. I don't know what more I can sort of add to it, but again, use the message board or use the comments for you guys to share information. I'll be reading all of them as I usually do, and I'm looking for insights from you guys as well. Those ladies who have been using RetinA or retinol for much longer than I have. I've really only been 10 months into it. So for those of you who have been using it for 2, 4, 5, 10, 20 years, I would love to hear your experience. Any tips you have for me. Does it go in different cycles? Does it start changing? Did you have to sort of bump up your grade and your strength? All of those things I would love to hear. So thanks so much, guys. I'm gonna just sign off now, but I hope you are doing well wherever you are. Thanks so much.